All right, I think I got it recording. So, all right, this is the debut of our new handbook. So I don't have a name for it as of right now. It's the Power Plan, but I'm not certain what the cover is going to be. So the final steps that I have left to do is design a little cover and get the back page. I have to figure out how to do that so that it prints different than the inside pages. So I'm working on my IT help over there. It's going to help me with that in the morning. But I've got 75 pages of awesomeness here that we're going to go through so you can see what I've put together. And I've got just a few final tweaks to make to it. And it should be ready to hopefully get printed this weekend so I can get it out to you guys really, really soon. A lot of this stuff that's in here is the stuff that's been in our binders, but it is now all retyped, reprinted, so it's all the same size, same font, everything matches. I've printed it out on, basically it's an 8.5 by 11 folded in half. So the font is great, very legible, so hopefully you enjoy it. But we'll go through it together, and if you guys see any major objections or have some feedback for me, feel free to interject and let me know. It is, like I said, it's still, I still have a few things to do, so we'll go through that and I'll let you know what I'm still adding. So, all right, so this is just when you open the book, this is the front cover, just a little introduction. Click down, and then we have the table of contents, which I haven't fully finished putting the page numbers in just because I'm still typing up a couple of the pages and I didn't want to have to go back and change all of that. So the page numbers will be on there. But Cindy and I actually went through the other night and organized it into 5 different sections of the book. So there's the introduction, and it covers the history of Plexus, why network marketing, and how Plexus is different. And then we we jump right into our products and kind of a product overview, all the different aspects of products, ordering, money back guarantee, ingredients, all that stuff. And then we get into first steps of getting started. Once you join, how do I get started kind of thing. So that's like basic training for getting started, things that a new ambassador would want to use. And then as you get more experience, you may not need to go back into that section very often. The business building section is, I may rename that business training. It's more the training section. So those are resources that you'd access on a more frequent basis. How to grow your business, how to overcome objections, what to send a new customer or a new ambassador, things that we attach to emails, things like that. And then the last section is on how we earn money, the compensation plan, the power of 3 system, the rankings. And then the last page will be, the back cover will have more of a thicker cover to it. And that's actually going to be the double-sided handout that we reference and use all the time, the one that we like to have laminated. So on the very back cover, you'll have your price sheet. So you can easily have that ready to look at. And then if you just flip that cover open, then you'll see the comp plan and the welcome packs too. So it'll be really easy to find and accessible when you're carrying your handbook around. All right, so the next page, this will be the first part of that first chapter, right? When you turn the page, after the table of contents, we have the history of Plexus worldwide. This came out of one of our manuals, and then I attached this little graphic here from one of the PowerPoint presentations that the Jewels give. So I really just think it's a nice way of introducing a new ambassador to Plexus to learn more about our history, how we started, and how we've grown. I also went ahead and put a couple of our recent accomplishments just for ambassadors who haven't seen these yet, just that we've been in several magazines. Shape Magazine gave Plexus #2 spot for the top diet of 2014, although we're not a diet. That's what they listed us. It was basically the whole rating was the top diets. So We were also, we debuted in the Inc. 500 as the 8th fastest growing privately held company in America, which is pretty incredible. And then this is a little clip out of that magazine. So I just thought I'd go ahead and stick that in. You can see the revenue growth, how we're just exploding in growth. We've had 16,457% growth. So I just thought it was helpful to go ahead and stick a couple of this in here for someone getting started who may not know a whole lot about Plexus yet. Okay, and then the next page, when you turn the page, you'll see why network marketing. This page came right out of the Super Saturday Handbook. So for those of you who went to Super Saturday, this was something that we were taught, and I thought it was very educational, so I went ahead and put it in our handbook. But it just basically talks about the benefits of getting in network marketing, why it makes sense, why it's a legitimate business opportunity. So just a little bit of education there to validate your decision to get in the Plexus business. All right, and then how is Plexus different? So a lot of times people who are already in another MLM or they've done them before and haven't found success, you know, they're like, oh, I've done that before. You know, what makes this one any different? Here's some examples to how Plexus is different than all of the others. So, you know, just looking at it here, couples can sign separately. Most other companies, they only let one in a household sign. Here with Plexus, you can sign one under the other and effectively get like triple the effect with both working. Profit sharing is offered to everyone from day one. Most other companies, early on in the first few months, if you ask, you know, how many of you made 100, 200, 500, raise your hand. Most other companies, they're not going to have that because they're just getting their discount. Hardly anyone makes a paycheck with the other companies early on. No direct competition within the company because we all have that one Plexus mentality. We try to help each other. The easy monthly qualification, again, that just talks about the minimum. We only have 100 PV, which can include our own products. Most other companies, it's much, much higher to qualify for a paycheck. Weekly and monthly pay, we get paid both ways with Plexus. A 50% payout to ambassadors, so that profit sharing, they give 50% of all of their profits back to the ambassadors. Low sign up, only $34.95. Most other companies, it's $99 or more to join, and then they have monthly website fees. So that's another great benefit. Special product pricing on the first order, that welcome pack below wholesale offer. Plexus products work, and a recent survey showed that nearly 93% of people said they were involved because of the products. And that's pretty amazing that of all the ambassadors that are in, 93% say it's because of the products. So it just shows how effective the products are at working. All right, Plexus customers purchase over 40% of all products. Most other MLMs, it's ambassadors or distributors purchasing those things. A lot of them have tons of inventory and back supply because they're just trying to buy those things to get their discounts and their paychecks. And then lastly, no monthly auto purchase. You can turn that off and go inactive, and there's no penalty to that. You can even order a package of Slim at wholesale while you're inactive, and there's still no penalty for that. And then I went ahead and included one more little tip down here that Plexus, it's the right time. A lot of people, they want to get in early to be on the ground floor, but they also don't want to get in when it's too early and have it be risky. And we're right there in the middle, perfectly timed. So it's a huge opportunity. Okay, so then we go right into the Plexus products and pricing. And I hope you like how I did this, but the Plexus Power Tools pricing page was so small that I couldn't get the font to show up. So I basically spent a little bit of time and I took that file and I modified it. I made the font bigger, but I kept the really pretty images of the products and I kept the pricing over there for us. And I believe that this will be a great way of showcasing your products and the pricing if you're flipping through your handbook with a customer. So we've got all of those there, and all I did was I just did the 15 products, and then I put combo packs, including the triplex, are also available. See the back cover for options and pricing. Because I don't feel it's necessary to take up another 2 pages with the different combos when we've already talked about the benefits of the individual products there. I can always go back in and change that. I just didn't feel like we really needed to have pictures and descriptions of those combos. Okay, then the product ingredients. Again, I probably could make this a little bit bigger, but the pages are going to be larger than this when it's printed. So what you're seeing on your screen, let me see if I can. I want it to stay on 2 pages, but let me see if I can make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, is that better? All right, so the product ingredients. I took the ingredient list that is in Power Tools, and I added a few things at the top. These are commonly asked questions about our products. So like they're gluten-free, they're GMO-free. The only product that has dairy and soy is the 96 shakes. I listed which capsules have the gelatin in case someone is vegetarian. I listed the natural flavors because that's a common question there. And then I listed the caffeine levels. So that information is there. And then we've got the other pages that list out all of the product ingredients right here for you. The Mega X, I went ahead and put on here. I just took off the capsule information because as far as I know, the gel cap is the only thing that they're changing, and we can go back in and handwrite that on later. All right. And then the next thing is product benefits and recommendations. And I did attach that to the file section of our group, so you guys have probably already seen that. But these are just, Clark and I went through these different categories and wrote out what we felt were the most beneficial combinations to recommend for those things, depending on their budget. Now, potential interactions and a disclaimer. I haven't finished adding my information to this page yet, so that's one final step that I have to do this evening, but this will have your basic cautions, you know, consult with a physician before beginning. It'll have any potential interaction like the hyperthyroid and block, or the heart and blood pressure issues with accelerator and boost. Just those common things that we're aware of. I'm going to go ahead and have those listed here for you as a tool just so that you're familiar with those things. Then I can also put a little disclaimer here at the bottom that just talks about, you know, that we do not claim to treat, cure, prevent any disease, that kind of thing. All right, so that's what will be on that page. All right, and then I go into the 3 ways to buy. What is the difference between retail, preferred, and wholesale? Along with our favorite little graphic that we like to share with our customers, or our potentials, I should say. What is the Plexus Promise? And that kind of is just a very brief touch introduction to the 60-day money-back guarantee. And then how to place an order. So this section will explain how to place an order as a customer and how to place an order as an ambassador. And then we go into how to join. If you have someone who wants to join, you'll have all the steps right here for how to help them sign up. And then the full 60-day guarantee is here for preferred retail ambassadors and direct transactions by an ambassador. Everything you want to know about the 60-day money-back guarantee or the 5-day for the ambassadors is in here, along with the current return address. I called and verified that this is the current address that they use. Okay, next we go into the getting started section. So this is the first steps to getting started. Right after they sign up, they will get their handbook and they can enter all this information in their new ambassador ID, their password to get into their website, what their website domain is, who their upline ambassadors, their sponsor, and phone number and email here. But then they have a spot down here where they can enter above those ambassadors so they can tell who their upline are. Plexus customer service number is really helpful to have right here. So this is a really nice, and then it just has a few getting started tips. I added, Cindy, right here, the power tools here. So this is like the first thing that someone would do when they sign up, some simple tips. So whether they're a wholesale ambassador, just for the discount, or they're wanting to work the business, this is a great place for them to get started and have to reference. But if they want to actually work the business and start training, then we go into a couple of more in-depth pages. So I have here a 3-way call. This is from the Darby team success plan that we have in our back office. The 3-way welcome call guidelines. So if you are fairly new yourself and you've just signed someone up and you need a little bit of help going through this, you can have your more experienced upline sponsor use this little template here to go through a 3-way call with the new person. Or if you're that experienced person, you can allow your fairly new ambassador to use this to go through a 3-way call. It's just a nice little template. You don't have to follow it exactly. It just kind of gives you a structure and a framework for things to discuss on the call. All right. One of the first things that we want to do, and right here you'll see identify ambassadors why. One of the first things that we want them to do is write down their why and their goals. It's really important for them to identify why they signed up with Plexus. What is their reason? Are they just wanting to be a wholesale customer? Are they wanting to try to earn enough to cover their products? Are they wanting financial freedom? Are they just wanting to help people with their health? What is their passion and their drive behind it, and have them write that out. And then their goals, have them help create a vision for where they see this going in the next 3, 6, 12 months. Because if it's not written down, it's just a dream. But when you write those dreams down, it becomes a goal that you can actually work to achieve. Okay, and then we have 4 weeks of accountability for those people who are really, for those who are really wanting to work the business. This gives them step by step what to do in those first few weeks to really get started in your training. And again, these are primarily from the Darby team's success plan. However, I did make some modifications for our team, and I added in things that I felt were helpful to me, and so it's personalized to our team. So what you would do is if someone's really wanting to follow through with this, you would set an accountability time once a week. Like, hey, next Thursday at 3 o'clock, how does that sound? Let's call and I'll answer any questions that you have over what you've learned. And we'll just kind of go through what you've learned together. So week 1, they would go through this with their sponsor on that little meeting call, get together, and their homework for the next time before the next call. These are things to do before the next call. And the next week they would go through this and discuss this with their sponsor and ask any questions they have, and then they would do this for the next week. So hopefully that makes sense. And then week 3, same thing. It's just week 3 and week 4 gives them a few more things to work on as they're learning. All right. And then we get into back office training. I've got 4 pages of back office training, learning how to use the back office, all the different steps of setting it up, how to find the reports, how to see the PV and the downline. On the 3rd and 4th page, it goes into setting up your payment, when we get paid, how to set up that earnings payment, frequently asked questions, how to place a wholesale order, removing your auto qualification if you need to go inactive, and understanding your wallet, all that stuff. Anything back office is in these 4 pages here. All right, then the memory jogger and the contact list. This is one of the assignments in those first weeks. So as you're brainstorming people to reach out and contact to, this is where you can write all that down. And I actually like to use this list for when I'm handing out samples. I keep one of those printed out on my desk. Anytime I give a sample, I'm going to write their name, I'm going to write the date that I sent it and what I sent, and then when I follow up, I'm going to write that over here. So that's another great thing. And those are also in our files section. You can print those out and use them. All right. Then I go into sales and advertising guidelines. So for getting started selling on Facebook or advertising in general, these are just some compliance guidelines and rules. For example, it's suggested to always sell at the retail amount unless they go through your website for the preferred pricing. Online retail sales, you cannot sell on eBay or Amazon or Craigslist. You can use Craigslist to promote your business side only, like join my team kind of thing. But you cannot sell directly through any third-party websites. So that information is here. Sales tax. This is helpful to know that Plexus charges sales tax on all products, whether you buy it or your customer buys it. They handle all of the sales tax for us so that we do not have to submit that and keep all those receipts. Now, if you do decide to sell from inventory, direct sales, then you do need to keep receipts, because as someone who sells directly from your inventory, you're going to be responsible for that 60-day money-back guarantee. And all of that information is in here. Advertising, you need an approval code for graphics, or you can find graphics that already have that approval code. When you buy business cards, brochures, they should already have them unless you're creating your own and you just submit it to compliance for approval to make sure that the wording and everything is compliant. And then avoid making medical claims. We talk about that right in here. If someone has a testimonial that's not compliant, you can ask them for permission to change the wording, how to post those testimonials. All that is in here. And then I have another page here that goes over Facebook guidelines, not posting prices publicly, not posting your paychecks publicly. Just some helpful tips on Facebook. You're not supposed to break down bottles or capsules to make smaller quantities, like no giving out 3 capsules of X Factor kind of thing. Just for liability, for your own liability. I mean, if it's your mom, that's one thing, but they don't want us doing that. And then cross-sponsoring. What cross-sponsoring is, you're not supposed to recruit people that you know from within Plexus to other MLMs. Basically, if you are with Avon and Plexus, you should not be asking your Plexus friends to order from your Avon order kind of thing. So all of that information is right here. Now, I will add to that as far as the cross-sponsoring. If you were already in an MLM before you joined Plexus, you can, or if you join another one after, you want to keep both of them separate so that on Facebook, you really shouldn't be able to tell that you're in 2 different MLMs. It's kind of the pick one horse and ride it kind of thing. But if you have a separate business page for the other one, that's fine. You can invite your own sponsor and your level 1 ambassadors to order from you, to a party that you're hosting for a friend. But if you only know these Plexus people through Plexus, meaning they're like your level 2, level 3, level 4, or they're just friends that you've added on Facebook, you do not want to be reaching out. It's against compliance to be reaching out and selling. I didn't see the big deal at first, but now that I've got hundreds of friends, it gets really obnoxious when you're added in all of those sales parties and things all the time, every week, without people asking, and I have to cancel myself out. It's just really, it detracts from their business, and most of them have friends that they're already ordering from. So we don't want to use Plexus as a platform to sell to something else. All right, moving on. Skills to building your business. This came out of one of the manuals that we had in our binder. These are 7 helpful tips for growing your business. It talks about number 1 step, finding prospects, how to look for prospects, and the different categories that they typically are in. Posers, the ones who are kind of like looking to get rich quick, amateurs who are looking for that one rock star, hoping, you know, they can get lucky, and then professionals who see it as a business and work it as a business. And then it just goes through, it encourages you to make a list, how to do all that, how to network. And then step 2, inviting your prospects, how to share with them. Step 3 is presenting the opportunity. I'm not going to read all this. You guys will have it really soon. So presenting the opportunity and learning how to duplicate. Step 4 is following up with people and facing objections. I touch on that just briefly, but we have another section in the book that we'll get to. Step 5 is closing. And this is Eric Worre's closing notes here, how he closes. Step 6 is getting people started once they order or sign up. And then step 7 is promoting events. All right, and then I'm going to do another page. This is one other little thing that I want to finish up. In the Super Saturday book that we got from the event that Plexus did back in January, there was a section called like 18 steps, 18 tips for building a successful Plexus business. I'm not going to type all of that out, but there were a few really good nuggets in there of information. I'm just going to take the highlights and I'm going to add those in here for our handbook. All right, and then overcoming objections. This is also from the Super Saturday handbook. This was really, really helpful information. So I went ahead and printed up these 2 pages also. And it's actually going to be 3. I'm not quite done printing it up, but you can see what I've got in here. Objection blocking. So weight loss, wellness, and wealth. Again, the Victor Antonio 3W model that we like to follow. Common weight loss objection. Nothing works for me. I can diet and exercise on my own. Why do I need to pay money for Plexus? Plexus costs too much. I tried a 3 or 7 day sample and didn't lose weight. Will I gain the weight back if I stop using Plexus? These are all common objections that we get, and these give you some really great examples of how to answer those objections. Wellness objections, is it FDA approved? My doctor doesn't approve supplements. Is Plexus safe to take with XYZ medication? Are there clinical studies? And then the business objections, is this a pyramid scheme? I'm not a salesperson. I'm not computer savvy. I don't know enough people, and everyone in my town has already heard of Plexus. So I will finish typing those out, and those will also be available to us in the handbook, and I think those will be very helpful. In fact, I recommend that we copy these, put them in our note section of our phone so that if someone asks, we can just copy and paste right in and have it quick and easy to go, because these are really, really well-worded, friendly, but straightforward objection blocks. So, all right, and then after that, I have sharing with others. This came out of one of the manuals as well. How to just basically share your journey with others, inviting them to learn more information. And I went ahead and added those sample text messages, Cindy, that were in the Super Saturday. So those are really helpful examples of what you can share with people. And then after that, we get into follow-up. Why is follow-up important? How to follow up. It just basically talks about the 3-7-10 rule for when to follow up. And the tickler file, which is a method of following up. If you don't have like a digital reminder system, you can use a little tickler file. In fact, I've got one in here I can show you. But it's just basically a little recipe box, and then you have 31 days in here, and then you can take an index card and write the person's information and stick them in, and then on the day of the month that you want to follow up with them, you would just stick it behind that next day when you're supposed to contact them, and then every day, like if today is the 17th, I'm going to look behind the 17th, and whoever I've put in here that I need to follow up with today, those would be the people I follow up with. I would then make a note of what was discussed in our contact, and I would move them to the next time I need to follow up. There is a video link there, and I'm going to put all of the links in our files section of our Power Team so that you have the digital links you can click on. All right, and then I've got the winning is persistent statistics. This is the graphic that I post about fairly often that just talks about why it's so important that we keep following up, because you can see these statistics here. 80% of all sales are made after the 5th contact with someone. If you only follow up once or twice, you've only got 5% of the people that are going to go ahead and move forward. So you got to keep being persistent and following up. And then I put some follow-up examples over here. These are from one of the manuals. I can't remember which one. I did not write all of these myself. These are just some really helpful examples of what to say when you're following up with someone if you're not good at wording things. All right. What to send when. Now this I did write. This was from one of my trainings that I did back in November. But basically, I took what I do each time I get a contact. So if I post on my wall and a friend replies with interest, and you know, you're like, oh, now what do I do? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. What do I send them? All of that step by step is right in here based on what they say. So it's a really helpful tool here. So you want to find out if they're looking for that wellness, the weight loss, wellness, or wealth. And then you're going to recommend products for them. And I've got that coming up. Actually, we already passed that up in the product section. So you'll recommend products for them. You'll share any useful images or testimonials or videos that you can think of in your private messaging or phone call or whenever you're chatting with them. Then you're going to get their email address and send them some documents. And then I've listed out here for you the things that I typically add to my emails. I have a template already ready to go for these 3 things: for a potential customer, for a potential ambassador, and actually that is pretty much the same template. I just add 1 paragraph for the potential ambassador. And then I have a template made up for new customer follow-up and new ambassador follow-up. But I have included everything that I add into that. And I don't plan to put the sample emails in here, but we can put some sample emails in the files section of the Power Team because you're going to want to just copy and paste that. So I didn't figure it would help too much if it was in your handbook. All right, so the rest of the what to send when is here. If you get a new ambassador, what to put in there for their training. Let me just bump back up there for a second. So if you get a new ambassador, this will tell you what to do for the new customer, and then what to do for the new ambassador. Add them to the team pages, email them with those attachments, and then follow up and encourage and troubleshoot if needed. I put the CHEW method that we heard on Rachel Rogers' call that I really thought was really beneficial in helping us remember what to suggest. Being consistent with the products, making healthy eating choices, exercise, and water. And then this is a great video here by Tim Thomas if they're not seeing results as quick as they want. All right, this is the measurement tracker that I send in my attachment, and I thought it would be helpful for me to put one here for you in case you want to track your own measurements, or if you have a newbie who wants to start out tracking their measurements when they get started. How to take your plexus products. This is something that I wrote up. So this is not found out anywhere else. You can take it for what it's worth. If you want to change it a little bit, that's fine. This is just what I feel. These are my recommendations. I don't like to start people on, 2 or 3 ProBio and 2 or 3 BioCleanse. I like to start them off slowly. So these, again, are my instructions for getting started. And then this is the daily regimen information here. And then I also included some ProBio cautioning about die-off and not going too fast and that kind of thing down here. All right, now, fighting fungal overgrowth. I tried to word this so that it didn't have the word candida in it, since we can no longer use that. However, I'm going to take these 2 pages out of the handbook and put them in our file section, because Clark was great enough to email compliance last night to see if this was compliant to use, and he got word back from them today that we actually, because fungal overgrowth candida is considered like an illness, if we're bringing someone, if we're claiming that ProBio can treat this illness, it's still not compliant no matter how we word it. So I don't want this to be something that we can get in trouble for having in our book. But at the same time, I want our team to be educated on what ProBio can do. Because again, just because the FDA says we can't say it, doesn't mean it doesn't do this. So I want us all to be aware of it. So I'm going to put it in the file section for educational purposes for our team. But I don't want it in our handbooks just so that we don't have any repercussions for it being in there. All right, so that will actually come out, unfortunately. All right, then we get into the power of 3. Actually, did I skip a page? No, it's on the next one. Okay. So the power of 3, this is getting into how we earn money with Plexus. The power of 3 plan, this is how Celeste and a lot of the leaders recommend that we train duplication, because by adding 3 ambassadors and getting those 3 to then add 3 ambassadors, over time, as they continue to trickle down, this graphic here shows you really well. If you did nothing but add 3 ambassadors and get each one of them to do the same thing, this is a hypothetical example, but at the end, when they would get all the way down to your 7th levels, you would have accumulated 4,893 points. You need 4,500 to go diamond. Now, obviously, you'd need more than just 3 level 1s, but the point is, that just shows you how well duplication and the power of 3 can work at growing a team. With those points, you would have, with the average of $3 per pay point, which is what we get on average, you would have a monthly pay point bonus of $14,679 every single month. Now, if you did the same thing with 4 ambassadors, your monthly check would be $87,000 a month. If you did the same thing with 5, you know, it could keep getting higher. Now, obviously, not everyone who joins us is going to be working the business and adding those 3 ambassadors. This is just a hypothetical, but this really shows the power of duplication and why it's helpful for you to get 3. And then, so over here you see you get your 3, and then you help them do the same thing. And that's how you grow a team, so that you get that residual income, so that you can have those retirement checks and not be dependent upon your commission checks. All right, so that is in there for you. And then we get right into the compensation plan. This earn money with Plexus graphic is what Sheila Medina uses when she teaches the compensation plan. So I went ahead and put this in because I think it's a really helpful graphic. It does not have all 11 ways that we get paid, but it has everything that someone starting out would need to know. All right, and then the compensation plan, I just went right into it. I didn't do any simplification. I just explained each 11 different way that we get paid in detail. So commission, the retail rewards override, that 5% that you get from your level 1. The business building bonuses, these are your welcome pack bonuses that you get, and I explained all that. Preferred customer bonuses. The rank achievement bonuses, when you rank up, you get those one-time bonuses. And how you rank up. The Fast Start program for the first 30 days. The profit sharing, this is the pay points. And then this shows you how many points you get with each level and who qualifies. All right, then the Emerald Pool bonus, the Sapphire Pool bonus, and the Diamond Pool bonus. And this gives you an example of about how much it is. You know, the sapphire is around $2,000, the diamond is around $2,000, and it just shows, you know, about what they get for that. And then the diamond re-entry program. In the emerald one, I also included that they qualify for the trip for 2 annually to Hawaii and that Lexus, and then I included the Lexus information here with the diamond Lexus, but I did not put the details of the Lexus program in our handbook. If someone really wants to know the details for that, we can have the file in our group without having to have a couple pages of that in our handbook. This is the update to the comp plan when they modified when the spouse can sign on. Just because so many people were cheating the system and adding their spouse just to have an inactive spouse riding on their coattails. So they made it so that the first spouse needs to get to gold before they add the other spouse. So I added that information in. And then this explains the first month commissions because it gets a little confusing with the welcome packs. So these are some examples of how their paycheck would look in their first month with that welcome pack. I threw in a couple blank pages for notes, and then the last page before the back cover, I put the stair-step graphic here. So you can quickly look at moving up in ranks and what you get. And then the back cover, again, on hard paper, on the cover itself is going to be the double-sided handout that we use. So right here on this inside, you would have the comp plan overview summary and the welcome packs, and then you close your book, and you've got the pricing with PV on the back. So that is the handbook, and I'm so excited to have this nearly done. I'm hoping that we'll get some reasonable prices on printing it so that we can keep it to about $10 to $15 a book. I would like to offer it. You guys are welcome to offer it to your level ones, but I just feel that I don't want to set the precedent for everybody feeling like they have to buy these for their level ones. Someone who's driven to work the business is not going to have a problem at all spending the cost of this book to have this resource in their hands. So however you decide to do it, if you want to buy it for your level ones, if you want to buy it for just yourself and ask your level ones to buy it, if you want to maybe buy it for the people who get a welcome pack as a thank you for ordering a welcome pack, however you want to do it, it's your business, your call. I'm planning to, Clark and I are going to take these and print out probably around 100 or 200, whatever the price point is that, you know, gives us the reasonable pricing, so that we get it at lower cost, and then we'll ship them out as requested. I do not think at this time I'm going to have it available on a digital file. I really just want to make sure that this stays within our team for the time being, but I'm open to considering that down the road. That's just something I'm not ready to decide yet. So, but the cost to print it, you know, the printing and shipping we're trying to keep it low, so it should be affordable for everybody. But I figure, I mean, the fact that over 300 ambassadors were paying $30 to print out power tools pages shows how much of a need this is, and I'm thrilled to finally be done with this project to present it to our team. I think this will be a great resource to help your new ambassadors get trained and start sharing it. It's going to be, let me see if I can take it off of share here. Okay. So it is going to be, oh, hey, there's a bunch more people on the call than I realized. It's going to be about the size of the Super Saturday book. So real easy to carry in a purse or a handbag, a briefcase, whatever you carry around with you. You can just throw this in. You can just flip through it, have everything you need at your fingertips. If you're meeting with a prospect, you can sit down and have all of these resources right here with you. So I'd love to have your feedback if you have like 5 minutes or so to share with me what you think. If you have comments, suggestions? What do you guys think?
I think it's awesome. That is going to be just amazing.
I think it's going to be incredible.
I'm so excited because I've done so many binders and spent
A lot of money.
a lot of money. It probably cost me $12 to $15 a binder. Plus they're huge and heavy, and if I have to mail it, it costs $13. And
yeah,
this is just amazing. I can't wait.
Well, not only that, but another thing I really like about it is it's all ready, done, and laid out. Like right now with our training of our new ambassadors, it's hard because everything's so piecemeal all over the place. There's like no organization, no system for how do I get started? What do I do? Where do I look for things? Where do I find these files? We're sending all these different files. They don't even match. I mean, you got some with different fonts and cartoon characters on them. It just doesn't look professional in my book. So I think this is going to be an amazing resource. I'm so excited to get it out to the team. So.
It looks great.
Any other thoughts?
It'll be a lot easier to take with us. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's so organized too.
Yeah. How about any other useful information that you would like or you think that maybe I didn't cover that needs to be in it? Did you see anything lacking that I forgot?
I feel like you covered everything pretty well.
Okay, good. Well, if you think of anything in the next 24 hours, shoot me an email. But I've tried to, over this past year that I've been an ambassador, I tend to write down like common questions, and I've tried to make sure that everything I put in the handbook are those common questions that I get from new ambassadors. So I feel like this will save all of us a lot of training time, a lot of one-on-one time when we're answering all those questions. If everything is right here in the handbook and someone messages you, you can say, hey, that's on page 3 of the handbook, or that's on page 12 of the handbook. They can look at it, and it's not like we're brushing them off, but at the same time, if they have everything at their fingertips, we're not spending so many hours typing out the same thing all the time. It'll make our duplication process so much easier. So I am so excited.
I have
All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording, and I'll spend just a few minutes chatting with you guys before we hang up. Let me see if I can. All right, have a good night.